Today we're going to be working on our balance and re-strengthening our pelvis. So go ahead and get 2 chairs so you can use either hand to balance. And also you're going to get a towel that you can fold up and that you're comfortable just gliding along the floor. Because our main objective today, like I said, is working on our balance. So we're going to start with that while our nervous systems are not tired. And then we're also going to be focusing on our glutes today, our hamstrings, and our quads, and a little bit of our core. So if you need more time, just pause the video. The first thing we're going to be doing is working on the movement of our hip joint right now, as well as balance and strengthening of our glute med muscle. So as you're just gently pushing your leg front and back, trying to put as light of pressure on the chairs beside us to really help to work our balance. We're also going to be keeping our hip bones in line with one another. We don't want to sit or sink in that hip that we're standing on, because if we're doing that, we're not strengthening our glute med muscle, which is a muscle that stabilizes our hip. It's a very important muscle. Now we're going to switch sides. Go nice and slow, front and back. So try to keep your hips nice and straight. Don't let your hips rotate or open out, and only work in a range that you can comfortably. Again, we're just warming up our muscles, warming up the hip joint, working a little bit on our balance, and making sure to wake up the muscles as much as we can, so that when we go into our everyday lives and we're walking around, walking upstairs, everything is nice and stable, it's strong, it's ready to go. The best parts of doing these workouts is you can pause the video whenever you need to and take a break. So now let's go out to the side, switch sides, and you're just going to move your leg out to the side and back in. And we're working on that balance. So if you can, try to take a little bit of pressure off of your hands that you're using to balance right now on the chairs, just to help enhance that balance a little bit more. But if that's too difficult for you right now, then just keep the pressure of your hands on the chairs. That's what they're there for. They're there to help with your balance and getting your confidence back doing these different motions. And there should not be any sharp, agonizing pain doing any of these movements. They should just be nice and easy, warm up exercises. Switch to the other side. And really open and close the leg in whatever range you feel comfortable. I was a dancer and a gymnast, so my range of motion may be a little bit better than yours. Just do what you can. Make this workout your own. And again, if you can, take maybe one arm off and balance. Make sure not to sit in that hip bone. Keep everything nice and tight. Imagine a string attached to the top of your head pulling you up. Now here's where we're going to balance. So you're going to bring your feet close together. You can even bring them close together if you are comfortable, like I'm showing you here. And you're going to just lift your arms off. Lift your hands off the chair and just try and balance here. Do your best. Try to balance. If this is too difficult, you can take your stance and put your feet right underneath your hips. So you don't have to touch your feet together. You can move your feet apart. I'm just showing you the levels of difficulty here. And if that's even too easy with your feet together when you're lifting off and you can balance, you can just close your eyes to see where your perception ability is. Remember, just hover your arms right above the chair so that if you need to, you can open your eyes and put your hands down to reestablish your balance. It's just important to try to get those balance, proprioception working in your joints so that it prepares you for these exercises that we're going to do. Now turn one of the chairs around so that they're both facing the same direction. And you're going to actually have your calves on one, and your arms should be able to touch the chair in front of you. You want your hamstrings sitting in the middle part. And you're just going to gently lean forward, and now squeeze your glutes together. So try to imagine you're squeezing a penny between your glutes. So really try to squeeze your glute, your butt muscles together, and relax. And squeeze your glutes together. Really try to wake those muscles up and relax. Squeeze the muscles together. Really squeeze, 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 and relax. Now when you do it, when you squeeze your glutes, press your feet into the floor. Because you want to prepare now, because we're going to be standing up eventually. And relax. Squeeze your glutes again. Press your feet down into the floor as if you're about to get up, but you're not. You're just preparing your muscles. And relax. And squeeze your glutes. Press your feet down into the floor. And relax. And squeeze your glutes and press your feet down into the floor. And relax. So now we're just going to raise our calves like this. Just warm up your lower legs. So go up onto your toes and down. Up onto your toes and down. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Right, so now those are warmed up. We're going to squeeze your glutes again, so slightly lean forward, squeeze your glutes, and now you're going to press your feet down to the floor and stand up. And now you're just going to practice this motion. So just push your hips back. So you're going to lean forward, slight bend in your knees, and squeeze your glutes and come back up. Slightly lean forward, press your hips back, and squeeze everything up. This is the first movement of the squat. So I want to teach you how to do this tilt first. So squeeze back, keep your core nice and tight, and squeeze your glutes back up. Lean forward, push your hips back towards the chair, and up. Lean forward, hips back, and squeeze back up. Hips back, squeeze back up. Keep everything nice and tight. Push your hips back and squeeze, almost like you're closing a door. Now, again, hips back. That is the first thing. Hips back. Now bend the knees and sit back down. Good. And now we're going to reset. So lean forward, squeeze the glutes, press the middle part of your foot right into the floor. Press down, squeeze your glutes. And don't thrust forward, just squeeze straight up. Now hinge forward, hinge. Sit back, nice and controlled. Good. And we're going to do that a few times. So nice lean forward, squeeze your glutes here. Press and recover down. So we're just going to practice that again. So before you start to get up, you're going to lean forward and squeeze everything up. And now push your hips back, sit back down, and recover. So you got to constantly go through these things in your head. Lean forward as you're squeezing your glutes. Press the middle part of your foot into the floor. That's what's pushing you up. Squeeze the glutes. Squeeze. Great. Now lean those hips back. Really push those hips back. Don't forget about that. That's very important. So do not just bend your knees. Do not do that. You need to lean forward slightly to push your hips back. Bend the knees. Keep the weight in the middle part of your foot. And sit back onto the chair. So we're working our balance. We're working our glutes. It's a great exercise. We're working our core. Squeeze everything up. Push your feet into the floor. Push. Squeeze the glutes. And up. Awesome. And now push the hips back. Keep the weight in the middle of the feet. And sit back. Lean forward. Squeeze the glutes together. Push the middle of the foot into the floor, all the way up. Squeeze the glutes. Push the hips back, really hinge forward. Hinge, 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 hinge. Nice and slow and controlled movement. Awesome, you're doing a great job. If you need to pause the video and take a break, do so. Lean forward, squeeze, push your feet right into the floor, squeeze your glutes up. Really squeeze, 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 squeeze. And hips back, hinge forward first. Keep the weight in the middle of the feet. And lean back into the chair. I know I'm getting very repetitive. You have to bear with me because these are very important cues I'm giving you. Lean forward, squeeze, push your weight up in the middle of your feet. Do not let your knees fall in. That is very important. Keep your knees over your toes. Lean forward. Push your hips back to the chair and sit back up. So we'll sit back in the chair and we're going to work on our quad muscle here. So we're going to pick a leg, start with any leg you want, straighten out your knee and control it back. Straighten out your knee, control it back. We are also working your core here because as we're doing this, we want to sit nice and tall. Really stretch out that knee. You should feel the quad working here. Again, sit up nice and tall. And you want to bring your belly button to your spine and squeeze your pelvic floor as if you're trying to keep urination from happening, okay? That's how you stabilize your core. Do a few more. Really work the quad. Now let's switch sides here. So keep everything nice and tight, sit up nice and tall, and work the other leg. So straighten your knee, you should feel that quad contracting. And work that knee, work the leg, work the quad, wake up those muscles. The reason we're working these muscles is because when we're doing the squats like we were just doing, we're mostly working the glutes and the hamstrings. So now we want to give a little bit of love to the quad muscle in the front of the leg now. So now you're going to scooch in front of you and reach forward. And we're just going to work the calves again. So bring your heels up and down, up and down. Just want to bring blood flow to the legs so that our muscles can work better when we're starting to work the legs in different ranges of motion, especially when it comes to helping us stand up and down. So we're going to, again, squeeze those glutes here. Lean forward, press the feet, the middle of the feet down into the floor, and stand up. Now you're going to, if you can, go up onto your toes and slowly control and lower your heels down. Now lean back, get those hips back. You should be contracting your hamstrings and your glutes. Now lean forward, squeeze those glutes. Press the middle of your feet into the floor. Press, 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 press. That is what's moving you up. Squeeze your glutes. And now rise up onto the toes. Help you balance, slowly lower. This is helping with what's called triple extension. Now press those hips back. Those are the first things that move back. Your hips are hinging, your knees are not bending first. Lean forward, hinge at those hips, squeeze the glutes, press the middle of your foot down into the floor. Up onto your toes. And slowly lower. This will help make your walks more powerful, help you get up the stairs easier. And lean forward and squeeze those glutes. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Press your feet down into the floor. It should be equal. You should feel your weight equal on each side. Now rise up onto your toes. And slowly lower. Hips move back first. Close the door with your hips. Now bend the knees. Weight should be in the middle of the feet. Squeeze the glutes to sit down. Lean forward again. Squeeze those glutes. Press the middle of the foot into the floor. Press up, press up, press up. Equally on both sides. Squeeze those glutes. Now come up onto your toes. Slowly lower. Hips back first. Hips, 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 hips. Now bend the knees. Sit down. And recover here. Now we're going to go up against the wall. Now when you do this, you want your wrists right in line with your shoulders. And you're going to lean just a little bit away from the wall because you're going to be doing a push-up here. So we want to keep our elbows as if we're trying to push the wall away from us. We're not trying to put our elbows out. We're trying to keep our elbows at a 45-degree angle. So what we're doing is we're actually pushing the wall away from us. So this is doing a couple things. This is getting our upper body warmed up because we was just warming up our legs, and we need to have upper body strength just as well as our lower body strength, but we also want to keep our core activated, and this is a great way to activate our core. So keep pushing here. Control down. If you can only do quarter push-ups like I'm showing you here, only do quarter push-ups. We're going to be doing these push-ups for about 2 minutes. So if this is too long for you, pause the video, take some water. And if that's too hard, if it's starting to get harder, what you can do is walk closer towards the wall so that you're not on as much of an angle. And if it's a little too easy, then walk a little bit away from the wall, and that will increase the angle and make the push-up harder. It will activate your core more. It will activate your arms. And you can also even go close towards the wall, get your nose to even touch. Those are the levels of difficulty. Almost done here. 10 more seconds. You're doing a great job activating your core and waking up your chest muscles and your arm muscles. I want to thank you very much for giving this video a try. When you're working with strengthening work like this, you need to do it about 3 to 4 times a week for you to notice a difference. So if you're starting to notice your balance is going and you're just knowing you're not able to sit up like you used to, or you're not able to sit down like you used to, you feel weak or anything like that, please stick with this video for not just a week. Please stick with this video for a few months and you'll notice huge improvements. And when you start to improve, let me hear from you. Comment in the comments below and let me know, hey Nichelle, I've been doing this video for a couple months. Can you please make a more difficult video for me? I'm improving and I want to keep improving. My balance is better. I want to hear all that from you guys. And make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified of any videos that I release in the future, because if you make a video request but you don't subscribe, then you're not going to be able to see or know when I release these videos. So please subscribe and please press the like button, because it will help me with getting more views and getting more people to see my videos. Thank you very much.